Hafide and good morning and ohayo gozaimasu. Welcome to the Office of the Governor of Guam. We are delighted to have you here with us today for a very special transfer of custody of World War II Japanese remains. Before we proceed, I want to acknowledge the presence of the Honorable Lourdes A. Leon Guerrero, Governor of Guam. Also joining us this morning, Rumiko Ishigami, Consul General, Japan Consulate Office. Ms. Yumi Sasada, Consul, Japan Consulate Office. Mr. Patrick Luhan, Guam State Historic Preservation Office, Officer, Division Supervisor, the Guam State Historic Preservation Office. Mr. Hidenobu Takagi, Peace Ring of Guam, Incorporated. Mr. Kazumi Aoki, Director for the South Pacific Memorial Association. Mr. Sakai from NHK. Yes. Mr. Moku Nakagawa, Official Ministry of Health, Labor, and Welfare of Japan. Ms. Eri Otani, Official MHLW. Ms. Arisa Nakayama, Team Leader, Japan Association for Recovery and Repatriation War Casualties. Ms. Sane Asano, Member for the JARRWC. Mr. Kano, Member of the JARRWC.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning and Hafide. Also, I want to welcome from the Leon Guerrero Tenor Administration, Mr. Melvin Wampat Borja, Director for the Department of Chamorro Affairs. And for those who are not able to join us in person this morning, we are live streaming the event on Governor's YouTube channel. I want to proceed now with our opening remarks from Mr. Patrick Luhan, Guam State Historic Preservation Officer.
Hafide. Hafide. Konnichiwa. Good morning. It's a pleasure to be here this morning for this little ceremony. Our mission with the Historic Preservation Office is one of great importance, working with the Japanese government, the Association for Recovery and Reparation of War Casualties. We do the same thing with the United States government, with the Defense POW MIA Accounting Agency, with the very important mission trying to repatriate the remains of soldiers who battled on Guam 80 years ago. As a son of a war survivor, my mom is still alive, 87 years old. It's very meaningful for me to conduct this, and it's a project that's been going on for a couple of years, and it's great to work with our partners. It's like an annual friendship meeting, right? Yeah. Come every year. You know, and so working in collaboration with the WWII folks, you know, to finally come and see this happen, it's very rewarding representing the government of Guam. Thank you.
Thank you, Patrick. I now want to give the floor to the Honorable Lourdes A. Leon Guerrero.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome to Guam. And always a friend of mine, Consul General. I am also honored to be here to, I guess, pay some tribute to the remains that we have found. I always feel that war is not it's a terrible, horrible thing. People die, whether they're on one side or the other side. And these are people who have families. And returning their remains to families or to museum, wherever they go, I think is the most civil and the right thing to do in partnership with our Japanese friends. And I know that it's now been 80 years, 80 some years since the war. and many of us have forgiven, but of course we have not forgotten. We will never forget the atrocities of war. But that doesn't stop us from forgiving, and it doesn't stop us from moving forward to forge friendship and relationships with key partners. And of course, Japan is one of our key allies and one of our partners in this part of the world. And like I said, the histories and the memories and the legacies will go on, but we also need to move on. And so I thank our Historic Preservation Unit and under the leadership, of course, of Patrick, to continue on this program so that we can say we as a Guam also are very sensitive to the casualties of war. And as you know, we are celebrating our 80th year of liberation, and we will be going to the various sites where there has been major atrocities and killings, and also remains of our people there, and we're going to honor them. And I thank the Japanese community and the Japanese Association and also the Council General for their presence also during those ceremonies, honoring and giving their prayers and thoughts for those people that have suffered and died and sacrificed their lives. Again, whether you're on one side or the other, it's very important to recognize that. So I just want to say we are excited to send these remains back to Japan and hopefully reunite them with their families and of course the government. So thank you again, and Patrick, thank you for this program.
Sisos Maasi, Governor. Thank you. I now want to give the floor to Rumiko Ishigami, Consul General for Japan Consulate Office.
Thank you for the introduction. Honorable Governor Luhan Guerrero, my friend, SHPO and Guam State Historic Preservation Officer, Mr. Patrick Luhan, and Mr. Logan, and also Mr. Wontat, Director for Chamorro Affairs, and Mr. George Takagi, Peace Ring of Guam, my friend, Mr. Kazumi Aoki, and South Pacific Memorial Association, also my friend. I have so many friends here. Representatives of the Ministry of Health and Labor and Welfare of Japan, Office for the Recovery and Repatriation of Remains of War Dead, and Japan Association for Recovery and Repatriation of War Casualties, JARRC, JARRC. Members of the media, Mr. Sakai NHK, ladies and gentlemen. Half a day. Good morning. Ohayo gozaimasu. It is a great honor for me to be here at this esteemed governor's office to accept the remains of World War II Japanese soldiers from Guam State Historic Preservation Office for formal repatriation through the government of Japan, hopefully to the soldiers' bereaved families. I am confident that these soldiers' souls will now rest peacefully as they are finally returning home after being abroad for 80-some years, having sacrificed their lives in service to their country. I have been told approximately 2.4 million Japanese soldiers lost their lives overseas during World War II, including about possibly 20,000 or so on Guam. And only about 10% of these soldiers' remains have been repatriated to Japan, and many more of their remains have yet to be recovered. So today we are receiving about, I think, 7 or 8 soldiers. That's great, thank you very much. Honorable Governor and the wonderful people of Guam, please accept my government's utmost gratitude for all the kind arrangements and respectful treatment accorded to the remains for their proper return to Japan, especially the remains of those soldiers returned today. This gesture truly signifies the spirit of Chamorro Inafamaulik, or Chamorro spirit of harmony, for which Japan is forever grateful. As we mark the 80th anniversary of Guam's liberation, I'm happy for the close friendship that Japan and Guam have come to foster, despite the sacrifices that the war survivors have had to endure. Youth Masi, thank you very much.
Sizos Maasi, Consul General. And now for the signing of transfer, I want to go ahead and have our panelists proceed with the signing.
Prior to that, just to explain the locations of where these burials were found, those are in the boxes that you see behind us. We brought them down here. There's 3 different project sites. One was at the Luhan cave site in Phuket, with soldier that had some World War II artifacts that came along with that finding. The other one was the South Pacific Memorial Peace Park. It was in a crypt that was constructed about 1970. Those remains are probably placed in there around the same time, and they were extracted in 2018 with further studies. It came out to be 3. It was commingled remains, so it's about 3 or 4 different individuals in that finding. The third and last one was the 2020 project. This was an inadvertent discovery with the Northern Water wastewater treatment plant renovations and expansion. So during that project, remains were found, and we brought out archaeologists and osteologists confirming that they were World War II Japanese era remains. So 5 individuals were found in that project. So all 3 individuals, or 3 locations, we have the remains to transfer over to the Japanese government. With that said, we have the governor and the consul general to sign the transfer authority forms.
Thank you so much, Sizos Maasi. That concludes today's signing for a transfer of custody of World War II Japanese remains. And again, this is very timely with the celebration of Guam's 80th liberation. Our theme for this year is Todo y Tempo y Paz Parejita, or Peace for Us Always. This will conclude our live stream event. Sizos Maasi.